to be sometime. I'm more than words. I'm beyond what I once was. I don't believe in love. Hey, hey. If I want something, I got it. Hey, hey. Oh, baby, I don't need love me. Hey, hey. Cause your love, I cannot buy it. Wasn't real with you, boy. Real, wasn't real with you, boy. You won't give me too much chances. I don't care if I am fancy brighter. Yeah, yeah, oh boy, I'm telling you goodbye, I'm telling you goodbye. Yeah, oh boy, I'm telling you goodbye, I'm telling you goodbye. I'm not the girl that I used to be sometime. I'm more than words. I'm beyond what I once was. I don't believe in love. Hey, hey. If I want something, I got it. Hey, hey. Oh, baby, I don't need love me. Hey, hey. Cause your love, I cannot buy it. Wasn't real with you, boy. Real, wasn't real with you, boy. You won't give me too much chances. I don't care if I am fancy brighter. Yeah, yeah, oh boy, I'm telling you goodbye, I'm telling you goodbye. Yeah, oh boy, I'm telling you goodbye, I'm telling you goodbye.
So I work at Amazon. I'm actually part of the Ops Tech IT team, which is just like operations IT. Aside from that, I just pretty much game. I'm at home with my fiance and 4 cats, and taking care of our newborn son.
We are here today for the Corporate Esports Association Overwatch 2020 Spring Playoffs. It is going to be a spectacular day.
I'm through most of it, only does get one as the Blizzard comes out on the backside. T also going to find the Deadeye onto Specs on the high ground. Google has to press on the pedal to try and touch this point. And they're not! Oh, it comes up short. Amazon Fire Force will be able to take Volskaya Industries.
CEA to me is like an organization that pulls together a lot of these like top companies around the world. I think it's like a great team building function, and then also it's for a great cause. It's for charity.
And since 2 members showed up in the top lane, they're immediately going to go for the dive in the mid lane with the damage onto Pandora. They're going to be able to pick up the kill twice over for Apocalypse. Everyone else is going to be running for the hills. Nobody wants to be able to join in this fight. With the minions there, the Baron's still on everybody. This is going to be the grand finals for Team Amazon Stock Dip. They've got the money, $5,000 for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. They have secured it for themselves with a 3-0 victory.
Yeah, so like losing to Adobe was like pretty heartbreaking. I got like the 2nd place trophy in the mail. I'll see it like every day, and like it's like a reminder, like you have to do better. You always have to like somebody out there is better than you. Like you should always try to be the best. But like we're definitely gonna come back way stronger, way better. We don't want to drop another game during the season. We definitely don't want to lose in grand finals.
Adobe Illustrators taking this next map. It is Saturday, my dudes. Saturday may be for the boys, but it is also for the Dota. And while we weren't quite here last week to bring you some CEA fun, that doesn't mean we abandoned you. I don't remember the week number. Hopefully, my good old buddy here this week, Snare, will help me out on
that. You. It's week number 5 right now, Mr. Howie. So we're together. We're out here. It's the first time that me and you're going to be on air together. ever before. It's going to be a special treat for everybody. So, 5 is one of my favorite prime numbers, so it's going to be a good time.
That is one way to put it. 5 is one of my favorite numbers in general. You go 5, you go 10. It divides up perfectly nicely. This is the last week of the Swiss. At this point onwards, we'll be breaking the tournament down into several brackets to see who makes the final playoffs. With two and 2 rated teams, the winner of this is guaranteed their place in the playoffs, while the loser must fight for their chance to make it in. Who have we got? So who have we got today? I know it's 2 teams we've seen before.
Yeah, 2 teams that we've seen before, both of them on stream, but it is a 2-2. One of the things that's going to be happening, like you mentioned, is that the winner guarantees a spot in the playoffs. But I think the most interesting thing is what's going to happen if you end up losing here, right? So if What's in Your Warlock comes out ahead from the captain on one side, then they're probably going to be feeling buoyed, having that additional boost of momentum. But if you lose, how many times have you seen before in this Dota 2 world when in a Swiss bracket, the team that's on the cusp of getting into the playoffs, as soon as they slip one game, suddenly it's just a tumble down to the bottom, right?
I mean, I've been that person at the very, very bottom before, and sometimes you just wonder, is there a way out? Is there a way out? Is there a way out?
Can you survive this? Nope.
As on the other
No way
side,
out.
if I'm correct, I'm 100% correct. We've got the social Networth with Team Facebook. So we've seen What's in Your Warlock dominate in their game, but we didn't see the social Networth win in their game live. They're up against Amazon Web Services, who have so far demolished the whole tournament. And it might not have been a fair showing for that team, to be honest. I'm looking forward to actually seeing them fight against someone who isn't currently 4-0 dominating everybody else.
It was one of the better games of all the games that they've just been dominant. So, Facebook, at least on the social network side, I kind of hope that they also will not be feeling too bad about it. Sometimes you lose to the best. It is what it is. You just shake it off, try again, come back swinging in the next day. So let's just hope that it doesn't keep them on the back foot. And like you mentioned, it probably wasn't the best showing from them in terms of what's the most fair shake that we're going to get at this contest. Now you're maybe playing on a more even playing field. It's going to be, now if you mess up, you can't have any excuses, right? Now it's like, hey, they were just better than us, and we can't even claim that they're ultimately the best overall. So now we really have to go back and get good.
So yes, looking in the overall standings of this tournament right now, any team that comes out with 3 wins is guaranteed their playoff spot. We have Amazon Web Services, who haven't lost a single game so far. The Google Geniuses and the Google Cloud players. Silver Edgelords, who we've seen play very strong. Sluck Puckerberg, my favorite team name of them all probably. And Techies Go Kabam, hoping maybe we see some of that one day.
I do not hope we see that at all. No, Howie. We don't want to see Techies Go Kabam. Techies must stay Kabam to stay out of this entirely.
On the cusp, we do have today's 2 teams, Social Networth and What's on Your Warlock. We also have Alexa Zusalt now, Defense of the Azure from Microsoft, Google 2, and the Red Hat Linux Assassins. Meanwhile, down, lower, trying to hopefully make their slot at one point is the fail of Discord. Back to basics from Google. Amazon primed. Google pseudo win. The geeks actually will quite like that one as well. And bias for ganks from Amazon. Unfortunately, Team Blink from Microsoft haven't been able to win a single game yet, but as someone who's been in that position, I believe in them in my heart of hearts. And hopefully next week I can see that one on their win column.
Sometimes it doesn't really matter how many you lose, right? That first victory, once you get the taste of it, that's all it takes to get yourself to the top. So they'll get there. It's kind of interesting that we don't get to see these kind of brackets as much anymore, with one team with 0 losses and one team with 0 wins. But it's given us a very nice spread here. I'm really glad that this is also a tournament where a lot of the sponsors are corporate people, and come from the tech companies, because you could mine some really nice data out of this. Look how beautiful this street looks.
Someone get OpenAI on the case again. They're going to be back with a vengeance. So while we wait for our 2 teams to get in the lobby, it's been a few weeks and there's a lot going on in the world of Dota, including, unfortunately, us having to deal with Spectre Arcana next year. I'm so upset, personally. I mean, both heroes annoy me, but as one of the lower MMR plebs, when you go against a Spectre and you know your team can't finish, it's just over. You don't even play the game, She just presses the key. It's over.
I personally am very glad that Spectre has been one of my favorite carries for years. But I think this was probably the first carry back in Dota 1 that I started winning with. And the second one was Void. So either way, I was going to be happy. I was like, this is beautiful. Spectre, Void. Okay, the Void one I hated is come on. I think we've seen enough come in the way of Void. It's never really created. But with Spectre, you don't want to see the beauty that could happen. You don't want to see the new Arcana. Maybe the Horns becomes some mist It just comes out of nowhere, opening dark portals. That would be awesome. It would be amazing.
It's true. And anyway, at Valve's current rate, it's more like which Arcana is going to be £30 and which Arcana is going to be 200. So we have decided that. Also, in the one at Dota Plus, I've spent every single one of my shards on trying to get some more of those sweet prismatic gems. I once spent £30 on one of those. Thank you for crashing the market.
£30. Woo.
I needed a white Terrorblade Arcana. Luckily, it's gone now. I sold it off.
You sold it off. It had to happen. And after you sold it, were you able to put a down payment on your house?
Yeah, I mean, I in past weeks have shown off my Aegis of champions, and this week I was able to fish it out just for all of you. The only thing I live for, as I say, my first shot. I am sorry that I'm like this. This is actually awesome though. Very heavy. I could like kill someone with this. Just swing it over their heads.
The question is, if you kill them with it, right? Would they die or would they respawn after 5 seconds?
Hope. I'm the one with the Aegis of the Immortal.
No, but you dropped it. You're dropping it directly onto their head, so now it's in their inventory, right? So even if it's in their body at that point, so would that give them the automatic respawn?
And we finally hit that prize pool at the end, $40 million. Imagine what the DPC could do with that money.
Oof, yeah, man. We need to definitely. Yeah. This is the big can of worms, right? We definitely cannot have just OG taking another 10 million home. Like this is now an obscene amount of money. $40 million, the DPC. This is like how many players right now struggling right now with internet, sweating in their houses without even a fan to keep them cold. How many of them could be hooked up right this? How much rent could this pay? This is a lot of money that needs to be spread out. Massive amount.
I've heard that like Secret have made like probably under $1 million from their crazy winning streak right now, which is mind blowing. But hopefully we will still get a TI 10 at one point because is it not a fun event? And if it's in Europe, maybe I could see myself there one day, like especially if they wait long enough. Kick it off.
Just give it long enough time. Be like, okay, we're just gonna give you a lead in. It'll be kind of difficult to do, you know. Now in this new age, unfortunately, the reason why TI 10 is delayed makes the events difficult to conceive of in the future, but it has to happen. Like the next TI, I think it was one of these things where it'll be like a product line where you just rename. It should just be TI 0. Next TI 1 again. We're starting from scratch. It should just actually be the international, no numbers included. Let's just finish it off right here.
I mean, one day in our hearts it could happen. Even we cannot see it in the near future. Both teams are in the lobby. We are they're just running on their quick little coin flips to decide their sides, and we'll be in the game as soon as possible. And I hate to bring it down to them, but after What's in Your Warlock took so long to join during preseason, they were in sharpish this time. So full praise. As the weeks go on, the teams get better at this. The team,
as we expect. But now we don't know, right?
I need to warn you, Snare, though, that from the social Networth, I did this team with Rallying Cry before, and I have a player called Earth Spirit and a player called GH. Okay. we have to be very careful about how we approach this issue because it's always a challenge.
Hey, the game that we watched from them, GH almost carried them to victory against the Amazon Weave. So he's the one to watch. Ironically, it's like he's out here. That name confers special power, Howie. So as soon as he put it on, we knew. He had that confidence. We were ready.
It's all the real GH deep down. They're just waiting because they could like sub him in at any minute and just say it's not a ringer, it's our player. He's just on his alt account. That's how they do it.
He just got really good out of nowhere suddenly, you know. So we don't have to worry about it. This guy's just amazing. Another thing is going to be interesting about watching this, right? So as we were talking about the Capital One people. You know, What's in Your Warlock? They came in super early. At the same time, the social network got in here just as the time was about to get going. So what do you think is more expressive of confidence? The super early guys were ready, were fired up approach, or the more laid back, oh, by the way, got to win a Dota game right quick. Snap.
From my experience, I'm often the one that makes the lobby whenever I do events like this. So that's how I'm just the one like who's waiting for people to show up in the first place.
But didn't you say you're also the one that's losing? So
we're asserting like a emotional dominance, not necessarily asserting mental or physical dominance. It's just saying talk about emotional intelligence.
Sometimes you need to actually just get into the lobby and just meditate. You know, get into your Zen place, find your calm drafting place, can see the future counter picks in your mind's eye, and then you're ready. Don't get caught off guard. Have you ever been in a situation actually where you're drafting and then you think you have the other team figured out, and then you go for one pick which completely screws your draft, and you almost want to just get up and leave and say, "Sorry, team."
Looks like we are almost just. Well, my Dota's trying to load, trying to get into the draft. I don't know if it's succeeding, but that means that we're getting somewhere right this very second. What's in your Warlock look like they're playing Radiant, and the Social Networth look like they're playing Dire with the first pick on the Dire side.
Dire first pick. That's something that we've been seeing a lot lately, that teams have been preferring Radiant overall, so not surprising that this is the way that this has been going. All I want in my life right now, if they can ban Faceless Void, that's it. And then my life will be okay.
Void
I'm
is
really tired of seeing
annoying.
it every game. Every game, Howie.
Void is annoying, but there's currently the 4 Protect 1 meta. That's the world we live in. Although, what's in your Warlock in the lobby chat promised us, quote, something silly. Now,
They did.
Snare's worried if it means techies deep down inside. I understand. But, I mean, it could be... I mean, maybe the Tusk is banned so that we don't do the blast off snowball, after all.
Oh my god. Oh my god. The social network has seen this and they're like, no. We're not going to let that happen. I mean, even Tusk by itself is, in my opinion, a fairly silly hero. Tag team is not a spell that should really be allowed. You shouldn't be allowed to level up tag team until level 3. Like, the game should just block you from doing it. My goodness, so annoying.
I'm still a big fan of the fact that Frozen Sigil slot still doesn't do anything. Thanks for the items, Val.
Thank you.
Also a Slark gone, and Earth Spirit was probably banned just to stop the player named after Earth Spirit from taking Earth Spirit. It's a way of getting in their heads. Name yourself after a hero, and they think, whoa, we got something serious going on over here. Watch out for
And
this,
they
man.
have GH. They have GH on the team. If Earth Spirit doesn't play Earth Spirit, then GH might. Way too scary. So,
Get him
be
out of
an
here.
intelligent game, just get it out of here. Get rid of it. Ban it. It's gone.
Oh,
Alright,
I
so-
do miss my Warlock flag.
Oh god. Well, we should have seen this coming. Generally, when this hero is somehow left through the first phase, Rubik first pick makes complete sense. The best support in Dota 2, and it's gonna probably continue to show its prowess. And they have GH Rubik. This was the hero he impressed on last time. He's gonna do it again.
We're all just thinking in our deep down hearts about this. We know that the real Rubik is just, the real GH is just hiding out among us. Maybe the real GH is part of us the whole time, to be totally honest.
At the end of the day, Howie, GH was in your heart all along.
Yes. Not seen Snapfire for a long time myself, but I miss her. So let's go, Cookie Mom, let's go!
Well, this is pretty much telegraphing that they want to go for the Faceless Void, and it's a block pick in case that Social Network want to go for this Phoenix. Oh man, if they don't pick Void, I don't see any reason not to pick Void when you have Snapfire. The lane combo is pretty decent, because then you have basically double Time Walk, you can never die in that situation. And of course, the Morty's Kisses in the bubble, so much damage. There's nothing they can do to stop that thus far. So I'd be so surprised if they don't pick Void right now. But if they don't, if I'm Social Network, I'm spam clicking the ban button on that Faceless Void already.
Might be too late for you. What's in your Warlock have certainly won 2 games so far. They know a little something about how to destroy ancients, apparently, as do we all. So perhaps they have this already planned. Although the link for this pick is suggesting that maybe they just have a Snapfire fan on their team. Maybe that's just it. There are a lot of other nice disables, of course, that synergize with it, even if Chronosphere is the nicest one. We are leaving the Void open.
Okay.
Tiny. I guess we're looking for that versatility. And what's the first ban straight away? They know what they're doing. Boom! Not having that.
Like, nope. Now this could also be, if this was in China, all the games that have been costed recently in China, the Snapfire has been going mid. So this is a potentially them trying to mess with what Social Network are doing. Because both of these heroes, between Snapfire and Tiny, are very versatile in their placement in the draft. So they can kind of do anything with these heroes. So this could be them just trying to hold their cards close to their chest, especially since they do have last overall pick, so they can try to get the best possible matchups. I doubt it, but you know, the possibility exists still.
I mean,
And they
how
do
is
something
this
fun,
not
right?
work?
Hey, they said they want to do something fun, so that could be the Snapfire mid.
I mean, how does that build work? I've not seen it myself.
Oh, you just you rush Ags, basically. You rush Ags on this hero, and when you have other stunning heroes, you just show up. So imagine you eat this Tiny, you know, you're just Rubik, trying to traipse around, doing your de-ordering thing. Suddenly there's a Tiny that spat at you, and He's gonna add a lot of toss on top of it, and you're just like, what the hell just happened? This came out of nowhere. And plus, when you get the early damage on the Snapfire with the levels, you get to the early level 12, it's an obscene amount of damage with the level 2 Mortis Kisses. So generally you go, it's that, and then you go Vessel afterwards, and then sometimes you go for Sheepstick or Sheepstick or not Dagon, Bloodthorn, depending on the kind of game that it's going in. But you have to win the game really quickly. When it happens, it looks so fun. It's crazy.
Just tossing people in. I mean, we have the Tiny and the Snapfire, so we can just like eat people and throw them around the whole map at this point. Like this is double airline strategy. We Tiny airlines up to the Snapfire, who then Snapfire airlines.
Just snap them. Or this is what happens, like Snapfire shoots the Tiny at the target, then the Tiny tosses the target back to Snapfire.
I mean, we've seen Tiny Airlines in all our games, but Snapfire Airlines does sound like it could make a good sort of like follow-up trolling strategy if you get annoyed halfway through the game and you're like, I've had enough of this.
You're like, well, we're done now.
You're gone. Bye-bye.
Enjoy the fountain, my friend.
Seen a lot of carry bands come out now, the Ursa, the PA, and the Juggernaut all at once. Don't like any
makes
of them,
sense.
apparently.
It's,
I mean,
you were mentioning this earlier, this is a 4 protect 1 kind of meta right now, so ideally you take out as many carries as possible, give yourself the best available one.
I mean, the
have that be your go-to.
The Ursa's probably gone because of the axe. One of the least fun players' axe. The PA, less sure about. I don't really see her around too often, but I guess everybody likes to get annoyed a little bit in their hearts sometimes. Also the Pango out of the pool. Why not? Pinball.
Pango bet makes sense. It seems to indicate to me that What's in Your Warlock wants to go for a much more team fight oriented lineup. So they want to have the option not to just have the entire combo broken up by this super annoying armadillo, which you can't really stop from doing his thing. So now with the draw ban, also trying to take away strong lanes in the off lane. Let's see. This is the way they have to show some information. They're gonna probably pick up a 5 position now. Or actually, they're gonna reveal who the 5 is. If it's gonna be the Snapfire or somebody else, they don't really have an option anymore.
Yeah, like it's quite hard to read into this Warlock draft right now and like work out exactly who's playing what. The 3rd pick will open this up a little bit for them. Meanwhile, the Social Networth team, you still can't really tell what the Ruby is going to do, but it is a little bit more clear that the axe can really only do one thing. Oh, I'm still lost.
So now it seems like it's +5 Snapfire, +4 ET. The Tiny's most likely going into the off lane, but it might be mid as well. I haven't seen this in such a long time.
Now, what
Rubik
sort of combo?
Grimstroke.
What sort of combo are they willing to do so far? Because it's certainly currently not a good one to steal, and it's not really. I mean, you have telekinesis, I guess, but it's not really a great one to use. But they do have the next pick before a ban, so maybe they can pull off some crazy, fun Grimstroke ult combo. I miss Grimstroke. I really miss seeing this man. Very fun hero.
It's a very fun hero to play. Also, one of these heroes that can be very nice to play into Tiny, because destroying the Phantom's Embrace is a super annoying job for that hero, with the most garbage attack speed in the game. Lots of damage for the lane. They also have decent protection for the safe lane hero that won't require too many rotations from the off lane. This is nice. And also they get not as much damage, but they get some nice disable with double lift. Double Fade Ball as well with Max Arcane Supremacy does a ton of damage. But like you mentioned, they don't have any huge single target clip just yet, but we shall see. The one nice thing though is that the Soulbind makes heroes easy pickings for the axe to be able to initiate on later.
They did it for the Battle Hunger, of course. The slow, it's so OP. I'm really curious about this What's in Your Warlock team now, because that Witch Doctor has changed the game again.
Oh, what? A Witch Doctor? I wasn't even thinking, what? Okay. So that's generally a 5 position hero. So this is a mid Snapfire. This is mid Snapfire then. Now you need a carry, right? Yeah, there's nothing else they can pick but a carry for the safe lane. Tiny goes mid. Yeah, mid Snapfire. Or Tiny goes off lane. Mid Snapfire. Okay, let's go. Let's see it. Oh wait, or is it off lane ET? I don't know. Howie, I don't know.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't really know what you do with any of these. Maybe we go back to old school mid Tiny, back in the day when you could just toss people, and it doesn't work anymore, but we can like harken back to the good old days. This was the team that promised something wacky, and this is a little wacky. Like, I'm not really sure.
What you're mentioning there about mid Tiny is probably what makes the most sense, right? Mid Tiny, off lane ET, Snapfire, Witch Doctor supports, and then you put what do you put in the safe lane here? They pick Lifestealer right now for Social Networth, so You go Terrorblade. Actually, Terrorblade doesn't actually seem too bad right now. They don't have that much illusion clear against them. They're not that afraid of these heroes. On the side of Social Networth, the Axe might be the only one that's a bit problematic early on, but later on you don't really care that much about the hero.
So the Grimstroke clearly isn't being picked for the Soulbind, it's being picked for the Inkswells here. You've got the Axe and the Lifestealer. Those are two really Inkswell heavy heroes. You can just run up to people without a care in the world there. That makes a lot of sense actually. The Grimstroke fits in really nicely. So even without a big single target combo, I feel like that gives them a lot of disable.
I'd still like one more hero with a bit more jump from them on the side of Social Networth. Like a Storm Spirit, Queen of Pain, Ember Spirit type of hero. Maybe even Void Spirit might actually be better. But something that can get more regen without, so that the Axe doesn't have to be the only source of their teamfight initiation. Because right now there's sort of a lot riding on this hero, right? If Axe has a pretty bad start to the game, doesn't feel like Social Networth can get out and active on the map for quite a while. But we'll see what this last pick's going to be from them. It might also be a hero that's just able to accelerate the game for them.
It's interesting seeing the Pugna Zeus bands. They're quite scared of a heavy magic damage. They have a lot of squishies in the Witch Doctor and Statfire. Maybe they're thinking about a squishy as their Nas core, which is why they're very scared of the burst there. Meanwhile, it's a really, I mean, they've got a decent amount of bulk on the Social Networth team.
Yeah, the heroes are quite beefy. Like, nobody really does, yeah.
You could, I mean, the Rubik and Grimstroke are a bit more vulnerable, but you have giant meat shields in the way, so who really cares? They have a lot of time for this last pick, though. Plenty of time to think about this. Who would be your Apex last pick? You've kind of named them, haven't you, with some of the Spirit heroes? Any ideas?
That feels like an Invoker pick. For the other team, for what's in your Warlock, that's a bit more complicated. I've actually been thinking about what safe lane hero was best after that Sven ban, because Sven would have actually been pretty incredible. But with that being removed, I think their best option is either going to be Terrorblade. Can't play Jug because that's banned. Terrorblade or Morphling, I think, are my preferred options then for what's in your Warlock at the end of the draft.
I would personally be a bit scared of picking a carry that needs that much protection. You were right on the first case. Baboing, let's see if he gets it number 2. We have a Spirit in the first camp, which it rounds it off pretty nicely, but yes, there's a lot being put on that Axe to demolish.
10 seconds
If the Lifestealer can make space for the Ember Spirit, though, you have quite this smooth, like, whole game curve. You have decent early game with the Axe, decent mid game with the Lifestealer, decent end game with the Ember Spirit. You kind of like have all your bases covered. I quite like how well rounded that Social Networth team comp is.
Yeah,
Seems like it could just about make it through the whole game, provided nobody really struggles.
The thing I like about it the most is how cohesive it seems and how simple it is to execute. Everybody has some predetermined things that they need to be able to achieve in the game. Axe needs to get big enough that he's able to start the fights without having to worry about dying instantly. Lifestealer and Ember Spirit needs to be able to fight both within the fight and on the edges. Ember Spirit in particular needs to be able to snowball in this 15 to 20 minute mid-game portion of the game, enable the Axe to just spend less time active on the map. So, they will raise the last pick. Alright, so this used to be like the old school counter to Lifestealer. This is actually an amazing Razor game.
This feels really early game tempo heavy. Like, you're really, really demanding that everything goes well for you at all points, because if you kind of let it go too late, you might get walked on by the Ember.
Absolutely. Now, this game cannot go late for what's in your Warlock. They are trying to peak at about 25-30 minutes, end the game at that point, and then just roll over Social Networth. They actually have the ability to make it happen depending on how they set up these lanes. Because there's going to be a period in this game where the Razor's going to be extremely dangerous and nobody can really approach him. And this Lifestealer can do pretty much nothing to fight against that Razor. So we shall see.
Yeah. Here's an obscure mechanics question. Does Static Link steal through Sleight Fist?
To start off first, yes it does. If you cast it first, then it's
so,
steal.
So what you have to do is Remnant away. But that's still not a bad counter, all things considered.
It's just annoying because like all of their heroes on the side of Social Networth, none of them want to be anywhere around this Razor, right? Kind of feel like if Razor shows up to the fight's over. Everyone has to run away, at least for like a healthy portion of the game. Especially once he buys BKB against his Ember, because then he's really not scared of anything that they have from what's in your Warlock.
Checking out how some of these teams are kitted out. My boy Red will be pogging at the Lifestealer tail. It's gold this time. What can I say? And for some of the rest of the heroes out here, a lot of default donkeys. Not a big fan of that one.
Come on, man. You know, you have to. Donkeys are nice. You have to allow the donkeys to flourish sometime.
Maybe I'm. That's just something I'm too much of a rich boy to understand. Up around the top lane. Grimstroke, is he going a bit too deep? He's probably safe out of there. I need to stop jumping the gun quite like that. Meanwhile, that Axe is eyeing up the Radiant territory. I'm not sure this is going to lead to much, but they're not scared, even with level 1 Razor with the static link. Annoying little hero. That nice. They do potentially want to try and find a hero up on this top lane. The Titan only has the spirit, so if he's left on his own, then he actually does just not do anything.
Ooh, look at this, Howie. Look middle. Look who's middle.
Ooh.
Look who's middle. Look who's middle for.
Yes, there we go. Who do we
It's
have
fire.
for the Elder Titan Natural Order synergy there? Because we do. I guess it kind of works well with the Razor.
Yeah, it's decent with the Razor, but you also get some decent amount out of the Tiny as well. It's just like a lot of magic damage that comes out of that hero. So if you're able to play nicely with the Spirit and position it around the Tiny just before you commit the Avalanche, you actually do a ton of additional damage at this small area. Plus, you also play with the Snapfire Metal, so you're going to have early access to Morty's Kisses. So if you get an early Stomp out, you guarantee a nice, at least 2 instances of damage from the ultimate.
Also, looking at those runes, we go 3-1 for the Radiant, burning the Tiny Avalanche to get it done. Not a bad start for them networth-wise. It's the small things that count in the long run, as Tiny already looks like he's here to cause problems on purpose. As it goes, level 1 petty conflict. He wants to pull those creeps all the way down to the tower. What can Grimstroke really do? Not much. It is the Lifestealer Grim lane. And then we have the Rubik Axe lane. It's interesting that they actually... Grim is the better 5, but it makes sense on paper that you play the Grim with the Axe, because that's just the combo that adds up. And we haven't actually done that. We have taken the Rubik down with him. On the other side, Witch Doctor Razor looking for some really early Maledict kills that could cause. That might be nasty. And the Titan Tiny... Yeah, as you said with the Spirit, we could lead to some really scary Avatos kills with that.
Yeah. This bottom lane I'm really worried about though, because this Axe is going to have a torrid time of things. This is truly a lose-lose situation for him. There's no way to really subsist yourself in this Razor lane, and like you mentioned, if he comes too close, there is kill potential in this lane. Pretty rough overall. And generally, we've seen this Rubik hero be able to salvage a lot of these lanes that seem to be lost from the offing.
Oh, he looks like he's in trouble already, being caught out by the static link and the stun. We're going to have a plasma field out in just 1 second for the last second slow for the first blood as well.
Well, and it's only going to get worse from here. Axel trying to just grab up a couple of more CS while he has an opportunity before he starts getting zoned out even harder. It's going to be a decent lane here, bottom. But it's going to make up somewhat for the fact that this mid lane is going to go pretty well for the Sember Spirit, it seems. Seems like the Snapfire, though, not really being put under pressure, but you don't really have that many tools to deal with this Ember Spirit. Given that the Scatter Blast is magic damage, he's got that Flame Guard, so you can just put that on. Most of your harassing tools that this mid Snapfire does use these days, immediately taken away by this Ember.
So we're already seeing Tiny and Titan do the annoying thing while you were bringing it up. I noticed a full Avatos on the Grimstroke with the Spirit that made it a bit late, but you can tell that's exactly the game they want to play on that mid lane. On the top lane, even. I know how directions work. Meanwhile, on the mid, you talked about Snapfire. Yes, Ember does have the natural counter, but like Snapfire has been dishing out some decent harassment, although many more last hits on the Ember side right now. Decent advantage. How that way.
I think he's got bottle coming. Yeah, he's got bottle coming on the courier, so he is definitely way ahead here.
Meanwhile, Snap is 400 away from the bottle. That's like a mountain. And down on the bot lane, they already pull off the first Maledict kill of what is going to be many on the Axe. That is truly a miserable lane, actually. I don't think there's any fun to be had there.
Nope. And the thing is, every time that one of these heroes is away from the other with the Rubik or the Axe, the other one is immediately in danger of dying, so they can't even stick around to get the bonus XP. So when it comes to just experience and gold, the rich get richer down here in the bottom lane. And this Rubik, we're gonna maybe try and make a movement onto the Witch Doctor, but Axe is just trying his luck. He just knows that he's gonna try to pull this creep wave, and there's not much else he can do.
they are being irritating to that Razor, who has only managed to make it out with 14 last hits. That Witch Doctor's getting lower and lower. The tiny little right clicks in the creep are actually going to finish that one off. Maybe just staying out for a little bit too long.
I'm kind of surprised that the Razor spent as much time just in the lane, didn't drag the creeps to meet his creep wave behind the tower first, so he could soak up some of the damage, but nonetheless, still alive and safe now.
So it looks like this is an Elder Titan core. He's going for the phase boots with the Bracer. He has 16 last hits, while a Tiny only has 1. That's not what we expected, but that you know, Elder Titan spending a lot more time in the lane as well, while Tiny is caught in confidence. Out comes the Inkswell and the Abba toss. The raid on the Lifestealer lets him dodge some stuns, and he runs straight in on the Titan, but he's taking a lot of damage, and he's going to be forced to back off. In fact, he's going to try running after the Grim, but it's just going to be some little harassment more than anything else. Double damage. Double damage on Ember mid. Snap, watch yourself. You're already a little low. We don't want old Granny being taken out like old Yana this early.
And the thing is, Ember's about to crack the 6 as well, just picking it up here in the mid lane. Very wise decision from the Snap to just move away. Strawberry Cheesecake, not in the vicinity to get jumped on right now, but Ember knows that this is a golden opportunity, gonna max out on the mana. If Snapfire shows again, they might decide to make the jump, but without steering chain, this is actually pretty difficult to pull off, so I don't think we'll actually see him go for it.
Well, the Axe tries going in, but the Maledict combo is going to do a lot of damage. He's going to make it back to base, but how much is he going to take? He will live. But yeah, it just proves how hard it is to like initiate. Even that seemed like a really good jump. Like Maledict's going to make you second guess yourself constantly. Just, you can't really do any extended engagements. Oh, it hurts.
It's so painful, man. It's so painful. You know what's also really painful? I'm looking out here in this top lane and seeing that GH on this Lifestealer. The lane is going okay for him, but you can tell he's already starting to get a bit frustrated. The fact that he has to play in this small corridor of space. There's a rotation towards mid though, because they know that Ember was trying to get the jump. But he doesn't have steering chains. As you see what I mean? Like, he has so much damage, but he couldn't actually lock down the Snapfire long enough to get the kill.
I was kind of like, maybe I'm a complete noob that throws games on Spirit Heroes, but I was low-key thinking, is he just going to jump in with the 2 spirits? But that rotation did quickly end that thought in my little peanut head. And Axe is behind the creeps again. I mean, I guess he knows it's a tough lane. He knows this is the one thing he can do, is now just go for creeps and pull them into camps. And yes, you'll get annoyed by the Maledict a bit, but oh well. They do pull off the combo up on top lane with the nasty magic resist reduction and the Avatos. Tiny already has arcanes. He's going to be able to keep himself topped up for quite some time now to keep doing this to the squishy Grim. But the Lifestealer is kind of off limits. Interestingly enough, it's only the support you really get to pick on.
Yeah, in this kind of lane, because the amplification is all magical in nature, pretty much no point even thinking about how to approach this Lifestealer. If he has rage, he's always going to survive, so there's a rotation now from the Snapfire, but I'm pretty sure that this is not really keep it. They're just swapping lanes actually. They're sending this Elder Titan to the mid lane. They know that it's easier for the Snapfire to play against the Lifestealer and vice versa.
The rage just cuts it off straight away. Boom, you're done. So Axe is, despite everything, picking up some crazy farm. He's almost matching his own team's Ember, who is ahead by 10 last hits and really has control over this lane. And when it comes to the safe lane cores, they are sitting identically on last hits. They've both managed to farm their way away. So that's been relatively safe for them. And so things have been looking fairly even everywhere except for the mid lane. And of course, you do have to worry about this Axe. He already has his Hood of Defiance. Because screw you, Witch Doctor.
And also this Elder Titan hasn't been doing as well in the offlane in terms of the recovery. That has moved mid now to try and achieve the same, but this Axe, like you mentioned, has recovered magnificently. We actually saw, while we were speaking about that, Pyro try to make the rotation on the Razor to deal with this Axe, but they weren't there in time, causing a lot of problems in this bottom lane. And the build that he went for on this Razor doesn't have a Bracer or anything tanky to help him out against the siege on the creeps. So he's actually spending a lot of time having difficulty staying alive here. We see his HP is pretty much always hovering around this half HP mark. There's not really much they can do about this until they kill this Axe and stop this pulling.
during that whole pause, I was thinking, I don't really miss the Battle Pass Arcade, but when I'm casting, I do miss the Battle Pass Arcade. Axe taking an eye on that Razor. He's super low here. There's no mana for Maledict. This is gonna hurt now. Rubik has the Fade Bolt, Zap, and Razor is just stuck under those trees. He is gonna be able to get out. There is, unless he, animation cancelled on the ult. Not good enough, but very close.
Mid lane?
On the mid
Match
lane.
to Ember.
Grimstroke looks ready. He gets the chains off and the ink swell open. There's a way out for this boy. The Earth Splitter is going to try and deal some comeback damage, but CEA, Elder Type, who rotated fully to the mid, to, I guess the Snapfire realized, I'm having a bad time, you go mid, you're a core, you can deal with this. But, couldn't really deal with it.
We were trying to salvage 2 lanes at once, so we're like, okay, the Snapfire did okay, but not amazingly versus Ember Spirit, but we also know that she's now susceptible to being jumped on. So let's move her out of that lane, get her into this Lifestealer lane on top, where you're already struggling. She can zone out the Lifestealer and apply pressure to the tower, but unfortunately ends up being a sacrifice. And our bottom fight again.
See ya, Rubik. Quick combos. That Elder Titan's helping pump out so much damage early on between those two heroes. Happens in a blink of an eye. Denying on the bottom tower. Getting that sweet little gold in. There's the net worth almost dead even between the two teams right now. The Axe is farming well, but actually saving the Snapfire has been the right call because now the last hits are completely even between the two. Snapfire's been able to make farm against a Lifestealer who doesn't really pose a threat. All he has is the slow, and you can just jump away.
Yeah, GH
Although,
pretty rough.
the Ember looks like he's going to make things a little bit hard. He does have 3 jumps, but he might not do it while there's Fire Snap Cookies available. Well, Grim's in the area as well. She might be getting baited into that Remnant, and she did. Jumps in for the bounty, doesn't get it. Now she's in risk with the Ghost coming out, but they will back off. No mana for another jump.
Oh, this is nice. At the same time, Earth Spirit managed to steal the Pyrazin cost down bottom while securing his team some bounties. That's going to be quite interesting. Without the cost point, this was great.
That was a very good try at stealing the rune, and she very much almost got it. And if she did get it, she would have made it out of her life. So that was extreme.
Yeah, rotating bottom though, there's a fight.
Here we go. We have the Axe taunting up the Razor, but the Maledict and the Mortimer's Kisses is going to really waste away at this Axe. Bye-bye, Maledict.
Wow. Okay. That was a lot of damage. That was obscene.
Yeah.
How much damage came out of there? My goodness. Okay, it didn't seem like
Looking
that
at
much.
this, 1,821. Most of it coming from the Razor, who had Eye of the Storm up that whole time. So zapping away.
He also has himself the max level static link out here, so they're able to grab a lot of damage in that fight.
Titan
Little,
tries
I think
jumping
they're
on the
fine.
Elder Titan, but he does miss the Earth Splitter, and the Rubik's going to back him the hell off straight away. If the Earth Splitter landed, it probably still wouldn't have been that good, to be totally honest. So it was a bit of a bold attempt against a hero who is farming well and currently having you for dinner. Now Ember is going for the Blade Mail first. Is this the new meta I've missed out on, or is this just a reaction?
There's some games where you can go Blade Mill first. I think it's a bit of overkill to go Blade Mill and the BKB straight off, but at the same time...
See a Razor again, he got that kill, but he tries farming top and he's going to get closed in on by the whole team with the Ink Swell getting some really nice early kills.
Nice jump on the Razor. Needed to happen because Razor has been just sort of slowly but surely getting close to duels. You want to keep this hero
Now,
progress.
3v3, Ember Spirit jumps into the middle, but he has cooldowns and everything else, and now the Maledict with Death Ward's going to come out. He might just about get away with it with his life, and now Lifestealer running straight into the back line. He's not going to make it as Snapfire finishes the jump. Lifestealer's just trying to charge some of these backline heroes, but he doesn't quite have the damage right now. Rubik also steals the Death Ward, but it doesn't convert to much. That might only end up with 1 kill, but it's a valuable kill there on that Ember Spirit. They want to keep the fight up, but nobody has any mana.
Nice.
Tiny, no!
Oh,
Up on the
nice.
cliff.
He's got a TP though, so it's fine.
Amazing. He does have arcades as well, makes life easier, but still you don't hate to see it. And now, with everybody else gone, Razor can now make the push on the Lifestealer he's always wanted, but as the tower gets close, he does get scared, and the Ember was there for backup with full HP and mana. We're going straight into Rubik. He already wants to potentially take a peek down mid. Not quite, it's 2 supports. And meanwhile, Axe guess who's farming away?
This is the period in the game that's the Axe can't actually be afford to be involved in any of these fights right now. They desperately need the blink from him. So this Ember sort of has to be pushing the envelope as much as possible whenever somebody is showing on the map, so that they get closer and closer to these items. The more I think about it now as well, this Blade Maul is actually going to be pretty great because all the damage is going to come out from the side of the what's in your Warlock is going to be coming out in short instances of burst that he can actually queue up Blade Mail for. Razor in particular never wants to be fighting into Blade Mail targets. The same is true for Tiny and for a Snapfire throwing out Mortimer's Kisses in a stationary position. So this could be interesting provided that the team can protect him somehow. At the same time though, bad nightmares are coming into this.
Axe wants that Elder Titan on the bot lane, and there is a hero coming in to back up with the Rubik. The Stomp just about hits on the edge though. Might dissuade them away. Tiny's in to back up as well. We might just be looking to try and disengage out of here rather than cause any more trouble. Axe still trying to eye up these supports, but there's a lot of backup over there. I'm not sure if that's the best idea for him. Also coming in from the distance is Snapfire. Both teams are really, really interested in this though. We're seeing circlings come out on the map here from the Dire. I think do they want it? They do have vision of this area with a ward. They pretty much know what they're dealing with over here.
Oh, nice investment here to keep himself alive. He might get the turnaround now back onto the Razor at this point.
Up on the top lane, yes, the Razor left alone, and they have just rotated everybody straight back to that outpost. Razor, he's fast, he has his ult going, but he's not really doing that much damage. He might have his plasma field back up again, but Tiny just trying to stop the game. In the middle, gets the three-man avalanche. Razor's just about going to get away with it now on the Mortimer's Kisses. Just going to miss the mark, but they're a great deterrent. These are some lightning-fast rotations. It's like I'm focusing on bottom lane, and then the whole team, both teams, just flash back up to the top lane to make a fight happen again.
Somehow nobody dies though because both teams are responding. Similar timings, keeping both the Razor as well as the various heroes on the side of the social Networth alive. So Razor gets to keep farming. This is a hero that can't afford to fall behind. As it stands right now, they're not going to be very happy because social Networth has been keeping either equivalent in farm or surpassing them. And whenever you picked up a lineup that includes a Razor, Snapfire, ET core trio, you never want to be falling behind.
Snapfire on the mid in a lot of trouble as all the spells come out, but the Elder Titan just repels on the backline, and in comes the Razor and the Tiny with the Avalanche now stuck in the side. Ember Spirit's down. The bouncing stun hits Rubik a few times. They could follow up with damage, but Axe jumps in to save the day, gets the Razor down. Stuck in the middle. I think this Dire team do want more. They do have more mana for it. There is a squishy Witch Doctor, but he's been maxing up his heal.
This is kind of a scary place to be right now for both teams. I think they should rather just back off. If this Lifestealer didn't have to be top farming, unable to really participate in that fight, maybe they re-engage. But they're actually going to try. They immediately smoke up. They pick up the illusion on the Axe and they're going in again.
Axe does have his blink and in a good time, so he can catch one hero just like that Tiny very low. Get the two-man blink off and the stolen shotgun blast. That's a 1 and that's a 2 with the Ghost. This will be done in no time. Axe is not... Oh, the Culling Blade is on cooldown, interestingly, but that's another kill for him regardless. I don't think quite spot where he missed the cull, but they have more than enough to finish the job anyway. Lots of slow disables, and they can steal another one.
It was in the fight middle. He thought he had enough to go to bring down the Razor, but only level 1 Culling Blade.
Ultimate is going to try and scare them off, but I don't think they have enough backup to truly start a fight here. Snapfire does have travels already, so that's why she is everywhere and anywhere at all times. And as you were saying, I've been waiting for downtime to finally mention this, is that the longer this game is dragged out, the more it does advantage this Dire team with the farming-based heroes. That said, the Lifestealer's dropped off the map a little bit compared to the Snapfire and Razor right now in terms of farm. So right now is this Capital One team's chance to really strike bit by bit. They need to start fights now. And they are looking for it with the very, very mobile Snapfire with the good burst. It looks like they're trying to start throwing mid, but the Axe is on the back line with 2 of his friends. I'm not sure they're too aware of this. Comes in to cut the creeps. Ping's coming out. I think they want the Axe. Misses the cookie. Try and get a stun though.
They need to actually just keep farming on this Tiny right now. The closer they get towards this Blink Dagger, this Tiny is going to enable their team fight in the same way that the Axe is doing for social Networth. So I think they should be trying to avoid fights as much as humanly possible until they get the 100 gold needed to complete this item for Mr. GemTD here. Once he can make that happen, then they can unlock a lot on the team, because right now they're really struggling to get any of these initiation jumps onto the other side of the team. And this is also including the fact that they don't have this Aghanim Scepter just yet. Strawberry Cheesecake is farming towards one, but it's taking a while on the Snapfire.
Team smoking top. They look like they want this Ember Spirit. He does have his 3 remnants, but they also have a lot of disabled to try and catch him.
He just likes
He might just sneak away under his tower soon enough. This isn't the safest place to initiate. There are a lot of rotations these teams are capable of, and they're not going to commit under that tower. Just use a chance to get some wards off instead. This exposes this mid tower, which will be laid down anytime soon, I like to believe. So
they want to get this tower ASAP, and they should be able to do so with this push. Axe is already in front to intercept any incoming creep waves, so they're going to be able to make this one happen. Tier 1, the first one middle in the game is going to fall, and it will go the way of the social network. What's in your Warlock? In trouble now, they're about to do it to 80.
Well, on the axe, the ET takes all the stuff. Tiny trying to cut off the Grimsmoke in the process, but Lifestealer's here, and the chop takes down the Titan. Now Tiny's left between a rock and a hard place here in more ways than one. The Avatos is out, but the Infest hurts. And it's another kill.
That was beautifully done. Nicely done there from the social network. Not only do they get the tier 1, they get 2 kills. One is very important of the ET. They might be able to bounce back in time to not only save the tier 2 top, but maybe get a revenge kill or 2.
Snaps TP just about makes it out, and now there's no stun to catch the Witch Doctor either. The double damage on the Snapfire, you do have to rotate quickly to deal with that. You don't want to lose a tier 2 this quickly. It does open up the outpost. Next rune's coming up in 5 seconds.
Yeah, and they're not really positioned right now to grab the bulk of them. So I think What's in Your Warlock are going to have to content themselves with maybe getting one. They'll get this one here inside Radiant Triangle, but I don't think they'll be able to pick up another one beyond that. Oh, they're not even going to get this one.
We might just go 2 and 2 as long as this Radiant team actually remember that there are also runes on the bottom half of the map.
I'm very surprised they're not seeing Ember Spirit on that side already. Fly Old Bros should be there to at least scout out the one that's inside their jungle and Remnant back. But you know, it's fine for to get this tier 1.
Axe jumps the elbow, the Titan, and with the same combos as we've seen plenty of times already, he's down Rubik with the toss now to cause even more damage and more trouble. With the Titan down, so much of their damage potential just disappears down the drain though, very quickly in a very subtle way. Ember Spirit now wants his top tower. He does have the siege creep, so with the whole team surrounding the area, they might end up catching this.
I'm starting to get very worried about what's going to happen in the next several minutes. They now have a 6k gold lead for the social network. They're picking up the tier 1 tower in the top lane. They got the bulk of these bounties, it seems. They're going to be able to defend their tier 1 middle. And we're starting to see the game be ran away with by them. And all the items that they're buying, look at how defensive they're building, right? And the reason they're doing this, they recognize that as we scale into these levels, provided we don't die, we are always going to be stronger than the other team. GemTD
jumping on the tiny bot with the Lifestealer and Axe. They just see 2 heroes, they just go for them. If Axe and Lifestealer see a hero, they could just go for it. Lifestealer didn't even use the effect for that. And the toss setting up for the Witch Doctor kill as well. Oh, that's terrifying. I pointed out earlier, but that's scarier than I thought it was actually. You can just throw Axe in. You've got 2 blinks on him now. He's farmed so quickly. He's got the pipe as well, which now just protects against so many of the nonsense coming out from this Radiant side. They are inoculated.
Pipe will protect them against a large burst of magic damage from the Snapfire. They're going to have Blade Mail and BKB on Ember Spirit to keep him alive. Lifestealer, of course, going to have Rage. And he's going to go... He's playing some PvE Dota right now, man. Look at him go. Just chilling bottom. Hitting creeps, not really worried about himself. He's like, you all play Dota, it's fine. You know, I'll bother me when you need me. But for now, I'm just having myself some fun. But I bet he's making some tea right now after setting the script here.
I've been paying a lot of attention to this Axis game, and literally the second a fight is over, he's hitting ancient creeps in the jungle. He is so well farmed because he is hitting camps at every single opportunity, and he's getting even closer to a BKB now, so you can really see this start to pay off. And this, along with the Lifestealer just being given space, he has a Deso and an Armlet, and he's going towards a Basher. It's late game getting scarier and scarier. Snapfire caught solo mid. All the old spells coming out one last time. There's not much any hero in this game can do when this combo comes in together. In fact, it looks like they might find the Titan as well. With the blink and the call, Ember's in the backline as well. Tiny and Witch Doctor are in town to try and stop this with the Maledict. Stun doesn't go terribly far, and they back off before it's too late.
Not done, dude. What to do?
Or Witch Doctor, though, he actually did try to channel the ult for some reason. It didn't get him that far, as he also does get picked off. That's 3 heroes down now, and this game is getting worse and worse. We're now, like, I looked away and it was like minus 4k. Now it's minus 10k.
Yep. Blink and you'll miss a type of Dota right here.
And looks like we're going for Roshan straight away. We have the Deso, so the minus armor will be strong. We have tanky heroes to take the damage. Why not just hit this Roshan down and get an Aegis out of one of these 2 farming heroes?
And get the Aegis ASAP, and what's gonna create greater worries for them is also the fact that this Razor was supposed to have been peaking around this point in the game. He's pretty much non-existent in any of these upcoming fights. I mean, he has himself the Yule Scepter, doesn't even have the full SNY, but there's no full value that he can provide. There's 2 BKBs that are available between the Axe and the Ember Spirit. There's Rage as well on the Lifestealer. There's so much resistance to the magic damage coming in from the pipe on the Axe. There's very little that it feels like he can actually accomplish until he gets like a massive amount of items or BKB, but the time horizon is very, very unkind. As we already see right now, the social network ready to just barrel down middle. They get the Infest into the Axe and it's time to go, baby.
Choo-choo, here comes the Axe train. Do we still have Toss on the Rubik? We don't, but we have the Cookie, which is good enough. Rubik is always seeming to get the spells that are right for this. Now, Lifestealer is bored, so that Invest Fest will be up. So, I mean, it is the case that you'd be sitting around there for a very long time waiting for something to happen. I think the Stomp did... Stomp just missed the Ember Spirit. Axe jumps in straight away on the Ember, but the Maledict Ref Ward has come out, and it is hitting him quite hard. Axe going to try TPing out in the middle of it, while Ember goes on a rampage through the middle with his BKB up. He has the mana and the remnants just keep heading harder. He's getting at least a triple kill.
Huge fight coming in there.
He's not getting a triple kill because Lifestealer will take the last hit. But regardless,
GH is like a gangster on the corner. He's like, hey man, no matter how much business you make, I'm gonna take a cut. Take a little slice off the cut.
They found the DD rune and they thought, now's our time, straight into action. The thing is that Maledict was really meant to be the counter to the Axe because, you know, the Death Ward isn't going to damage the Witch Doctor, so if you can get a safe Death Ward, it's okay. But, like, it just isn't enough. He has too much armor. It's a physical damage spell. On the bottom lane, they found a solo Snapfire. Tries jumping into the trees, but caught by the Inkswell. I don't think there's much left for her in this world. She is going to go for the TP. They all are actually going to get away with it.
80 HP in the fountain, what a player.
Just because the chains were not back in time. Rest in peace there, one chance. 13k now, our advantage. But Radiant are going to smoke up on mid and see what left they can get. There is a solo Rubik, but it is under a tower.
In the jungle,
Dangerously TPing tower, and who's out in the side? It's your boy Lifestealer. He's peeked and he's ready. Breaks their invis. Witch Doctor's caught out in the middle. They are going to try and push forward with the Cookie and the Razor, but the Infest just saves this Rubik's life. He's so tanky, he's just going to jump straight back in, and I can't even see how quickly these heroes are dying to this Lifestealer. Mortimer's Kiss is going to try and react back out, but with BKBs, they don't care. It's another kill. 12k on both of those heroes alone. They just don't have the damage to respond. The BKBs and the Rage, what's Mortimer's Kiss going to do to any of this? You can't fight into it.
Look how quickly they're dying themselves. They went into a fight on the high ground without having complete vision of the area. But as soon as they pop out, my god, they get eviscerated in a very short span of time. And suddenly everybody's dead. Tier 2 gone down in the mid lane as well.
And with the Snapfire Aghanims out, it's something, but it's not enough. Snapfire solo farming up on the top lane, but what's she doing? Losing all of her towers at the same time. This Lifestealer is just wandering out in no man's land, but I think this Radiant team know there's nothing they can do against an Aegis Basher Lifestealer. Axe on guard as well, Infest ready just in case we want to cause even more shenanigans. They basically just own this entire zone for themselves. One more tower. See ya.
The only hero that can even venture out onto the map is a Snapfire, because she's got the BTs and she's fairly tanky between the drums, the Ogre Club, Ags, as well as this bracer, so she doesn't die in as fast burst as the rest of the team does. But man, oh man, is it unsafe. Look, like,
All
look at
she
this
does
grim
is
stroke.
not dies, tries jumping onto the Grim Stroke, and does get the toss back. They might get this kill. The Titan's still helping with the armor reduction. But now, Rubik goes in with the toss back on the Titan, but the Axe Life Stealer combo jumps into the middle, and that Death Ward is doing nothing. Rubik caught out on the sidelines, but takes quite a bit of damage, but just about stopped in time. The call comes out again on the Snapfire. The Maledict on the Axe, he doesn't even care about it. Lifestealer just running after supports. We have the buyback on the Tiny. Does he? This might just be a bit too long for hang around. They've got what they wanted, as one of his kisses comes out on a hero who's used the Flame Guard. He's taken quite a bit of damage there. He might just
Nice
not
jump
death
back.
though. Very well timed. Axe is still playing right in the middle of all of this, and that's going to give Lifestealer the cue to rage up again.
Nice.
I don't care about your avalanche.
It's a Lina Rex right now.
They
With the
really
Death
timed
Ward.
that. They
Okay.
timed
They
that
had to buy
retreat.
back.
They timed the retreat perfectly, where they didn't commit to it. They waited for the scariest spell to be burned, and then they were ready to just jump again. That said, Lifestealer was caught out by the toss. It
What a
doesn't
jump.
matter because of the armlet of Mordegon keeping him tanky and the Infest. Axe absolutely saves his bacon there. The very last minute, the armlet just about keeps Lifestealer tanky enough. He was so close to being killed. They did catch him with the sleep. And now the X-File on the Axe, I think I know where they want to go next. The full health Lifestealer will be out on you, bro. Down you go. Tiny hurts as well. No buybacks on two of these heroes. Oh,
God.
no thanks.
Well, that's definitely Lina Rex. Dude,
I
like,
love it.
look, actually, that Axe saved GH's life. GH ran out of just at the split second when he got into the end phase. He was actually about to die for real without the protection of the agent. So amazing play right now. They're not done
I
with
am,
Axe.
yeah, bye-bye. I'm loving the way that this Dire team really messed with what's in your Warlock's head. They backed off, they think, oh, this is over, this is over. As soon as the Mortimer's Kisses is done, which they were vulnerable to, they just jumped right back in. Axe is on the sidelines, he's hidden. Now, Axe does manage to pick off that hero, but he was caught under the tower, almost dies, but with enough teamwork, there's so much damage on this Ember Spirit as well. Have we not forgotten about him with his Ag? The static link is out on the Ember, he is now going to lose all his damage, but those racks are gone, man. You're just causing damage limitation at this point.
Yep. And they just waltz out of the base, absolutely none the worse for wear. The full team is alive. They've taken a full Lina Rex. One step closer here, Howie, to getting themselves into the playoffs and looking extremely good while doing it. They also managed to claim themselves the outpost before they made that push. So that meant that they got the bonus experience coming in right now, 30 minutes. They are flying high in almost every category. Even in the farm department, look how far ahead they are of these Radiant cores. And I say cores because ET is basically now another support. There's only 2 cores left on the side of what's in your Warlock.
And they just didn't get, like, if they got 1 or 2 important kills to make up for that, they could at least say, okay, we can kill the Lifestealer, we can kill the Ember. But they couldn't get a single one. Tiny's way too close to the sun. No surprises there on that death, as now they're going to stop back up again. They have full health, full mana, and a lot of cooldowns ready for yet one more tower. They got nothing in that fight, in that big extended fight on bot. All they did was burn a few buybacks. If you can't even get one of like their stronger heroes, then it really starts to get scary for you. Even one pickoff could have just added a demoralizing factor at least. But we're not even there. Lifestealer with the Abyssal almost picks off the Witch Doctor. Are we going to get the Infest Axes, you know, in Axe Town here? Playing around on the bottom lane because he's ready to pick off anyone that steps out of line, whereas the rest of the team push mid. That said, Ember is one of the worst tower pushing cores in the game, so it's not very fun.
I think Razor's dead. Yeah, Razor's dead.
Oh, we might be with the Avalanche and the Abyssal. He tries making it out. He does have the Yules to very briefly try and protect him. He is speedy. And the slow, he is very, very, very fast. He's gonna get away with that. He's so fast, he bought the Yules and the Sanj and Yasha. And during this whole time, of course, it's all going wrong mid. Ember's very, very low, but he's clearly not dead. And the Axe is just running around. 1-2 kill, 1 kill, 2 kills, out of position. The Ember Spirit is picked off by Immortus Kisses and a little Shredder though. That's quite a lot of gold for their side, but I don't think that's even going to be enough to stop them from fighting. Getting the bash out on the Snapfire. The Lifestealer is healthy, and so is the Axe, having healed up to full HP now. The Ember was caught out nastily, but if they really need it, he has the buyback as well.
Yeah.
Till then, Tiny with the jump in, but at the same time, Axe catches off the backliners, so they can't react to Tiny's pretty good initiation. And it's just another Tiny death. 4 heroes left, standing as they hit that tower. The Snapfire Axe trying to get the L-Titan in, but doesn't really do anything, and in comes Axe with the stolen Avalanche as well. Lifestealer raging, hitting around. Static Link doesn't even do much. That interaction is a bit wacky though. But oh, the cookie comes out onto the Razor. They may catch this Rim if he reveals himself, but Axe is gatekeeping big time here. Standing up in the middle, pops the BKB, he turns back with the Inkswell as well. Out comes Lifestealer, he's getting his damage back now. Lifestealer jumps on the back line, whereas the rest of the team can just destroy Razor with everything they've got. That fight is surprisingly tanky, but she's not going to turn around and fight. And a blink on the Axe again with the Inkswell. Catches 2, stuns and slows all around. Only a Ghost Scepter gets Tiny out of that one. This Axe, every moment you think, okay, Axe is done now. Axe jumps in again. Every time you think, okay, he's had enough. He has not had enough. And I really want to emphasize that fight where Tiny got a really good jump in, caught like 2 or 3 heroes with the Avalanche, but because he didn't catch Axe, Axe jumps backline, gets the 2 cores, and now there's no follow-up on the Tiny whatsoever in that team fight. So all that work Tiny does is just erased in an instant. This Axe is acting just so fast in everything that happens, stomping around the map.
He's truly hard carrying his team in this game. Like, since he picked up this Blink Dagger, he's been pushing the envelope every single time, like you mentioned, that Blink is back on and Corner's back down. He's trying to make something happen, farming to his heart's content. He's now effectively unkillable with his block off all the avenues of possible damage that could come his way. I mean, he has Shiva's BKB Blade Mail type. Good luck bringing this man down, even if he doesn't have the largest HP pool in the world. And as it stands right now, provided that he's not caught in any initiation, like you mentioned, he's always going to present this massive threat. BKBs or no, because they only have the 1 BKB right now on the Snapfire that they've just picked up. But even without that, with or without it, it doesn't really matter. There's always going to be a way for this Axe to catch you out of position and bring the fight to you, no matter what. No matter what your positioning looks like. He's had an incredible game. And matters are going to get worse for them because they just want to try and go up on the hill and finish this game off. And there's no more big ticket items that they can pick up that might help them win. And because the Snapfire bought BKB, if she dies, then there's no buyback, and she's one of the biggest sources of their damage.
Oh, the spider legs over the cliff on the Axe so that he can catch 2 with the call. Razor and Tiny are in the front line. Axe wasn't actually able to get the kills he was looking for, but the Abyssal comes out on the Razor to catch him. And the Leash, that's a good death ward though. It's going to chew down on the Lifestealer and get him down. The positioning wasn't quite right, and so is the Rubik going to go down, landing in Immortus Kisses. Lifestealer does have the buyback, but the Ember Spirit is cleaning up in his absence. With 1, 2, 3 kills, Lifestealer's back in town with his travels. Axe jumps in, he does have the Snapfire. Down in the back, Razor was trying to catch the Ember, but Lifestealer's here to say you can only steal damage from one of us.
Nice.
Even getting the Lifestealer, it doesn't matter if you catch the Lifestealer because there's another core that's so farmed and has buyback. Just give up. Oh dear, they did not pay attention to that one. Axe is just watching closely, looking to try and get a jump, and he does get it out on the Razor. And surrounded by heroes, the death ward is down. There's not too much you can contribute to that one. He does buy time for the Razor to make it a fountain, but that static link was reflected, so it will be a good old nothing burger. The stop does come out, hits the Ember Spirit. It's too late. The Ancient goes down. My one little favourite moment from that last fight, was the Axe spider legs over the cliff in order to get vision on the heroes to blink. Axe did everything right. That was a masterclass in that hero,
Yep.
if you've ever seen one before. Have no fear and also play with a life stealer that can infest you. Two very, very big factors in your head. That was a...
Listen, at this point, right? At this point, the way that this man played in this game, I guarantee that once we're back into the playoffs, now that Social Networth has made it into the playoffs, he's never going to play Axe either again. Anybody watching this game is like, well, good performance, buddy. I hope you had fun. But that kind of masterclass is never happening again because holy hell, did he put the team completely on his back? Like, drag them to victory. Berserkers calling and screaming all the way through. What a boss.
Just catch hero 1, catch hero 2, catch hero 3. Absolutely terrifying. Tiny ends the game 0-10-7. Witch Doctor ends 2-11, and that supposed core titan ends 1-10-7. They said we wanted to do something wacky. It might have been a bit too wacky for the day. The only hero with more than 2 kills being the Snapfire. So the Snapfire mid did work. You weren't wrong about it.
But it doesn't work if it's the only thing working at that time, right? When the rest of the game is pretty much falling apart. The other lanes, I must say, right, I'm so impressed by the recovery. That bottom lane, we thought that the Razor might have been able to really run away with it with that Witch Doctor, but man, the Axe recognizing the best situation to be able to take advantage of how to come back in that lane, and they didn't stop him. And he went on from there to just boss the game by himself, pretty much making 2 lanes unplayable. The only lane that was playable is this mid lane, and that's to sort of swap it out to try and protect this ET top. Didn't go well enough either because it's an ET core. It's not like it's a tiny or something that can directly recover the game by itself. There's only one offlaner who could do a game by itself in this game, and Axe did it like a boss.
That was so much fun, and it felt like it went by in a blast, but actually 37 minutes is kind of an average game length, all things considered. Would you give your MVP to Axe, or is there anyone else?
No.
Was there anyone else to shine the spotlight on? Let's shine the spotlight on someone else just for a second.
If we're shining the spotlight on someone else, right? You know who actually played like a boss? Earth Spirit Rubik was actually pretty damn sick in this game. Had a lot of key and clutch steals on spells that not just look flashy and do a lot of damage, but were useful in the situations and context where it came up. We saw almost as soon as he finished stealing the toss, how useful was it, right? Cancelled 2-3 TPs and managed to use it as an initiation to more than once, just toss Axe into better positions, blink dagger or no. So I must say, basically the entire bottom lane for for the Social Networth, right? Earth Spirit on the Rubik as well as SK on the Axe.
And Ember did end the game 12-3. Like, yikes. That'll be it for this week's game from the CEA. We'll have another game this time next week, but also keep your eyes peeled on the channel. Maybe give us a little bit of a follow. There might be a bonus in the coming week. Who knows? There might be a surprise. You'll have to find out, and the only way you can find out is keeping your eye on here. I've been Howie. This has been Snare. Any last words? That was an awful way to say it, but any last comments on today's game?
The last comment I just have to say is, if you're playing Dota 2, pick damage and pick stuns. You know, sometimes you can try to be silly and you can try to be fun, but that doesn't always win you the game of Dota 2.
Indeed. So the Social Networth guaranteed their place in the playoffs. What's in your Warlock can still make it through the next weeks as we break down the bracket into 3 different little groups of players. There's plenty more where this came from on the CEA. Keep your eyes peeled. But until then, goodbye.
A pair of jeans, a shirt or 2. We didn't pack as if we weren't going back. It doesn't matter if it's true. I've got a feeling love will give us what we lack. The world is waiting up. The world is waiting half a step beyond our door. Yeah. And if it's not enough, I wanna see the stuff the world has got in store. I wanna take it all in, I'm falling. The cityscape by night, wanna catch in my photos. Where you go, every corner twice as bright. They'll be my treasures forever. When I can't hold you tight, I'll see the Stockholm lights. The Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights. feels a year away. Like the seconds, the beginning and the end. But if in time it's yesterday, your picture's gonna bring it home to me again. The world is waiting up. The world is waiting half a step beyond our door. And if it's not enough, I wanna see the stuff the world has got in store. I wanna take it all in, I'm falling. The cityscape by night, wanna catch in my photos. Where you go, every corner twice as bright. They'll be my treasures forever. When I can't hold you tight, I'll see the Stockholm lights. The Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights.